Scott Russell, thought it'd be good to have a little talk about life again. We're back to relationships, right? I mean, I kind of figure that I talk this stuff because I'm going through a journey, discovery, learning. I know that to have to go through some of this stuff at midlife and, excuse me, not to rebound, but to wait, it's not common. And I wanted to just be that experimental guinea pig. I got touched by somebody's heart at some point, and you can't get rid of that. When somebody's touched your heart, it's there. I have never experienced it like that. I was with a friend today, and actually a female, just an older lady that we have coffee together. She's in her 70s, and she said to me, Scott, I was talking to her about it. She says, Scott, I think you got touched by love. And I was like, yeah, I guess I did. She's like, you just because you can't seem to get past some of that. And yeah, sometimes it comes down to, do you want to get past it? And why would you? And so life becomes a journey of waiting, and at midlife you can sort of feel like, well, the clock's ticking, but when there's love involved, you just have to wait. You just have to pray for that person, believe in that person, and know that if something's right, if it's supposed to be, it will be. And a friend once said to me, a precious person in my life once said, look, be the best version of you that you can while you're waiting. And while I'm waiting, I'm becoming that best version. Well, I hope. But so I'm just thinking about midlife, and coming from a male perspective to females, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And it's pretty common for men to think their women can have an identity, but it needs to be under us. We never think of it in those terms, but it just is. And I think when we hit midlife, a lot of men are looking to shut down, sit in front of the TV, kind of bring me my beer, woman. Everything I've got you here is because of me. So, bring me my beer, give me my sex, cook dinner, whatever, and look good. You're here to look good. And the women are sort of going, well, I don't feel fulfilled in that. And so I think a lot of the time in midlife, women are looking to open up. They've had responsibilities their whole life. They've raised kids. The kids are getting to an age they're not so dependent on mum and dad. They're always there, but not so dependent. So a woman often, I think, is looking to open up and live. I want to fulfill what's for my life. And a man's often looking at, well, I want to shut life down. I want to enjoy my boat, my four-wheel drive, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just that often I think as males, we don't understand that dynamic, and probably females don't really understand it either. And so it can bring a lot of friction, and ultimately can break that relationship. And sometimes maybe that needs to be, because it's just, sometimes you can work hard to change something, and if the other person's not open to change or can even see there needs to be a change, then you're butting your head against the wall. And in that case, it's just a prayer. But one of the things I discovered is, I'm a fairly forceful individual in one sense, in my personality. I'm not very, I don't do as I'm told. So when it's not that I want to be obnoxious, it's just if I don't have a conviction of it, or if I can't see it, then it's not going to happen. I was just talking to somebody recently about this, and said, look, if people hit me head on, most males, or maybe, I don't know, but I'm like that. You hit me head on, I'm not going to puppy down. It's almost like you trigger that male, not ego, maybe it is, but it's just triggering that male part. But when somebody comes and actually approaches your heart and helps you understand what it is they want, or they need you to change or do differently or whatever, you resonate with a heart, you get the world from me. You want to butt heads with me, then I can be pretty stubborn. I try not to be. I try to see your point of view, but it doesn't always work out. I'm a male, right? And Anyway, I just was thinking about that, and as my journey's gone on with different experiences, I'm realizing the most precious thing in life is a woman that completes you as you complete a woman. Now, I think often the woman and the male, a male, you're living life, you know what you're doing, you're going somewhere. So you're not grabbing a woman because I need you to complete me, but it's like saying I'm complete, but I know I'm limited in my completeness. And a woman can look and say, well, I'm complete, but I'm limited in my completeness because I know there's more that I could reach, but I don't really know how to get there. So I think we become a safe place for each other. A male becomes a safe place for a female to be all that she could be and beyond. And a female can be all that a male could be. Now, a lot of males will get threatened by that because it's not then a case of equality. It's a case of just saying, I want you to be all that you were created to be. And you want me to be all that I'm created to be, and we're not threatened by that. So it's not that we're necessarily equal. We're being who we are supposed to be, not submitted to anything, but saying, well, in love, I guess we submit in a sense, but it's not to change, but to just say, I honor you. And what excites me about a relationship is when that right one's there, she brings out the best in me. I saw that with some stuff that I started to work on here, and it just brought out the best in my life. It brought me into levels that I'm not really free to talk about on here, but just in myself unlocked so much, gave me the hope to stand up again, gave me the hope to move forward again, just because that person was there, just who they are, the spirit of who they are. And I know I did that back to that individual. And it was a very special time, and I believe may come around again in some way. But I realized through that when somebody just is of the same spirit as you, when you've got the same meshing of heart in the spiritual level, it's like then it comes, or everything flows out from there. So it becomes spiritual, then it becomes mentally, emotionally, and then naturally. Whereas I think the world wants natural first, so sexually, and then it comes down to mentally, I like you, and you please me, and emotionally, and try to jam it into spiritually, and it doesn't work because then it's hard work. But when somebody merges with your spirit, when your spirit resonates with their spirit, it's very frightening, it's intimidating, it's vulnerability, and it's beautiful. And when that starts to happen, if it's not in a good environment, you have to step away because the power of that will be limitless. And so when you have or you step towards it, depending on the circumstances, but timing is everything. And I think that when those two individuals, a male and a woman, come together to complete the purpose, if there's a purpose, to complete the beauty, the fragrance of life. She brings out the best in me. I bring out the best in her. Now, most males would be insecure by that because it's like, we don't want a woman to, go past me. And that's sort of that alpha thinking, right? That she needs to be under there. I'm the boss and she makes me look good, not I am thrilled and delighted when I see her excelling in everything that she's supposed to be for her life. That excites me. And I've had struggles the other way where I just am so excited about putting into somebody that I don't put into myself sometimes. And I think that's where it's fallen down for me, is that often the person hasn't given back the other way or hasn't had the opportunity, the freedom or whatever too. And so not that it's been wrong, but it's just the timing of it. But I think in a great relationship that's at the right time and the circumstances are free and everything around it's free, she would put into me, I would put into her. And just by the nature of the spirit of who we are, it would progress into them becoming emotional from spiritual, a spiritual merging to emotionally, then mentally, and then ultimately physically. And I think that is something that I've touched on the edge of that and with someone that I just know there's so much potential there. It was a time to just step back while things had to be where they needed to be. And that's caring and loving the other person, actually. And saying this is not this is not the time, excuse me, this is not the, life is not free at the moment enough to be able to act. And so that's when I think for me it becomes be the best version. That beautiful individual said to me was, be the best version of you can be. And that's what the journey then is. And then that right woman is going to become, that's the right version of her. And it'll be limitless. Because I think when those two spirits have merged and it goes to all the others, then all of a sudden I'm bringing out the best in her. She's bringing out, no, I'm going to change that. I'm bringing out beyond the best in her. Things that she never saw or knew she could do. She was never in a safe place to be able to explore or push the boundaries. But I'm a safe place then. And so as I'm allowing that and wanting that, not allowing it, but just co-joining with that, it's limitless in her. And that's coming back the other way as well, where she's taking me beyond anything I could have ever been. And that happened. It took me to levels that I am still flabbergasted in it, just touching it a little bit. The potential of what's unwrapped around my life from that I'm still trying to unwrap. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say it is possible. I think that you can have two people that are supposed to be soulmates, that, or maybe you could call it, but they generally were created to bring out better than best. And the Bible talks about one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. So I think when two people come together, it's synergizing, right? It's not just saying, well, now we've got one doing, one and one makes three. No, it's saying 1 and 1 make 11. And then in that limitless creativity, as long as everybody's open for that, I tell you that there are no limits. And I'm ordered my life being the best version of me towards that, because I know that's going to come at some point. And I'm patiently, some days not so patiently, but patiently trying to just allow myself to be on that level. So anyway, I wanted to share this just about relationships, because I think often marriages are partnerships just to get things done. They're not marriages. When I'm married, the Bible says the two become one. So when it's a true marriage, and I think a lot of what we see is not actually a true marriage, they're just legal documents. And I understand there's more to that, excuse me, but I have found that often people leave those marriages even though they're in the marriage. And I've talked about that in other videos, and that's a travesty. It's a case of the two just living the limitless. I am preparing for that. That's why I'm not on the hunt. I've seen that. I've touched that to just a little. And in that little, it's hooked me. I can't empty of that. It's changed my life. It's troubled my life, probably in a good way. It's funny, somebody touches your life like that. You can't just push them away and say it's done. It's just begun. And who knows? I don't have all the answers to that, but I wanted to put that out there. I think it's amazing as a male and a female that we're secure in who we are enough that we can say, I'm here to be a safe place for you. You're there to be a safe place for me, so we can be beyond our best, synergized into limitless potential and creativity where there are no limits. Dear God, what a place to be. And imagine the love and the passion that would be wrapped up in that at the same time. It would just be admiration, safety beyond anything anyone's ever known. I think then sexual intimacy would become all that I am. I'm surrendering to you because you're a safe place. And the other person's going, all that I am, I'm surrendering to you. So it's never about what I can get from the other person or what I can give to the other person. And I think a religion teaches that. You need to be everything to your wife that you want her to be to you. That's BS. You know what? You be everything that you are, and as a godly man and a godly woman, a woman that's in God, in your spirit, Then when you come together in sexual unity, I believe it will become all that I am, everything that I am. I feel so safe with you. I surrender my very being into you. And that person saying, well, I surrender my very being back to you. And for that moment, the two really are becoming one, because it's a sexual union of no perversion, no lust, no using, but surrender. Kind of like Jesus did for us, really. When he, for me, when he came into my heart, and I think this is where it's coming from in me. He said, it's almost like he's saying the whole who I am is I'm surrendering to you. Not to take authority over. That's, if you think that, you've missed the point, right? He's saying, Scott, you're a safe place for me. I can give you my unconditional love. But then I'm looking back and saying, God, when I'm near you, I feel safe. All that I am, my very being, everything, I give to you. Now the merging of the Holy Spirit of God through, and I believe that's what Jesus bought for us when he died on the cross, is the freedom from our actions to understand we are unconditionally loved. And religion would call that sin. I call it freedom of being Scott. He set me free from being trapped in being Scott and said, I unconditionally love you. Will you merge, surrender all you are to me? And I am surrendering everything that I have and are to you. And that merging is a synergizing divinely with God that changes the world. I can't wait. I got to be honest, I touched on just a little bit the understanding of that with somebody, not sexually, but spiritually. And I know that's possible, and I just look forward to the day where it can continue to be and go where it needs to go. So God bless you. It's a different thought for today.